Okay. Oh, there's a cat there, as usual. Hello, hello. Can I see myself? I think I can. There we go. All right. Apologize for the shakiness of the camera, as I will probably settle in a moment. There's a cat underneath this setup, battling with my mic cord. So let me adjust that too. So preliminary stuff for this live, as obviously there's a point of discussion that this has been set up for, which I now have the ability to see your comments. So if you have anything that you want to chat about in relation to what I'm about to say, please definitely comment. Despite my experience with Darien Lake being somewhat minimal, I will say that I have been to the park when Superman opened. So I have got the perspective of how that ride has, say, run over the past 22, 23 years, maybe 20 years, because I haven't ridden it or rode it in the last two. Little did I think that only 2 years ago, well, getting on to over 3 years ago now, the last time that I rode that ride, that it would be under threat of possibly being eliminated from the Darien Lake lineup. Now, this has really caused a lot of controversy, I guess, in maybe the Western New York community that don't want to see this coaster go anywhere because clearly it's the best ride in the area. That's really not up for discussion or debate. I think that we universally agree that that is the case. But as a lot of people have tried to detract from this rumor and say that it is not true, I kind of look at it in a different way, especially from that experience of having been at the park only, or my last visit, and just looking at the general condition of the ride and thinking in the long term now whether or not the park had any intention of, say, keeping the ride for a prolonged period. This doesn't mean that the ride, say, is under threat, but potentially it may move somewhere. And why would it move somewhere? Well, yeah, it seems like completely outlandish to suggest it, but the reason why it would make sense and has been covered in some of the rumors, and the original source of this rumor being Screamscape, have not retracted the rumor, despite everyone attacking any videos out there, including my own, which is fine, about the potential that this thing could be true. Why could it be true? Well, I did mention it in my own video that was already posted as a point of conjecture and part of some other videos sort of speculating on the issue that the water park that Darien Lake currently has could potentially be expanded. And the real obvious thing that you look at when you think about that is that first helix on Superman. It takes up a ton of real estate. It's also situated at a key position in the park, right at the point where you basically come in to enter it. So you're looking at really the highlight piece of land for this attraction. It's a very unusual entrance when you come in as you turn off left from the highway into the park. The park is sprawled out on your left-hand side, so you pass pretty much the entire thing, and there's no fencing or anything to hide that. So it really draws you in, and Superman is a perfect attraction in that area, and I'm not going to detract from that as well. I love where it is. Everyone loves the straightaways over the lake. Yes, that could have been corrected, but this sort of leads to where I'm going with this with Superman. That ride, as I said before or was alluding to, did not look like it was really being maintained that well. In fact, it kind of looked, and I hate to say it, but my recent, or at the time, very close to experience with Blue Streak was not that much different than Superman. And I'm going to add some levity or some sort of, qualification to this rumor, let's say, in the fact that I did have a lot of conversations with park employees when I was there at the time. Specifically, we talked about Viper and the fact that it had two trains, one of which was not actually being serviced or was not actually being used because they required some parts. They had bought the train, but there was a couple parts that they still needed for it in order to actually bring it into service, but they didn't have the money to do that. That is a sort of like, it's statements like that that are completely genuine and not even what we were originally talking about at the time, that adds sort of credence to some parts of this rumor. in the sense that I did have also another conversation with Ride Ops on Mindbender. Everybody there, I will say, was so nice, and I love the staff there. I'd have to say, for a Six Flags park, outside of one crew member on Predator, which I'm always going to mention, and if I see them again, I'll still mention it. I don't care. Yeah, they were amazing, and they really gave you sort of like a grounded perspective of what the reality is with the park, and how much they love the park, and they have a vested interest in seeing it being successful. So the bottom line is that it sounded like the park really couldn't afford a lot of the upkeep and maintenance that would be expected of, say, a bigger park in the Six Flags chain. So that's a sort of scary thing, because you have to really balance out the business expectations of Darien Lake. It's in a weird location, and it's just really hard to qualify the fact that the Niagara area is a legitimate draw for people to this park. What I'm getting at is that if you have another big ride like Superman open at Darien Lake, I don't think you can really count on, say, a huge draw for that attraction as you could, unfortunately, say, even at Niagara Amusement Park. So the challenge is out there for Gene Staples. It is kind of the Wild West down there, because Darien Lake is going to open this season. So it's going to be interesting to see how he situates himself as a competitor to that park. Never a greater opportunity to take advantage of what Darien Lake is maybe struggling with right now, and to get right in there and get some thrill rides that will take away from their crowd base. Because I was also thinking about a season pass at Darien Lake. If you're looking at getting one for this coming season, other than it probably being a very affordable pass, when you think about the ride outlay and the time commitment that it takes for someone, say, that lives in Buffalo, if you're going from a short distance, or even, say, Rochester, it really boils down to the fact that it's a bit of a time commitment. Not, say, as Wonderland is now, where it was at one point back in the past, like, say, when the park first opened, as Darien Lake kind of opened at the same time. And yeah, they were situated in retrospect to their cities in the same way. But Wonderland is now way more accessible to get to than, say, Darien Lake is. And that being said, yeah, there's a lot to consider for what they can manage and what they can draw into that park. So you might see where I'm getting at, which is the water park may be a big draw for Darien Lake in the future. If they build the concept around it being a resort built around water park, or a water park. You have Great Wolf Lodge. You have very many. You have Schlitterbahn. You have lots of successful models of how a water park can be sort of the fulcrum of a bigger sort of resort type of facility. The owners of Darien Lake have no experience in the amusement world, really. So that when it comes down to, like, that's why Six Flags is running the park, but they don't own the park, as I know, and everyone knows pretty much. They don't own the park. But at the same retrospect, the owners of that park have to look at what is a better investment going forward to bring people in. Now, when you look at Darien Lake's water park, and everyone says how it is completely underservicing the people that do come there, and they come there in droves, then it's obviously really something that has to be addressed. And it's a cheaper option than bringing in, say, a big mega coaster like we all want. Like myself, I want bigger coasters and mega coasters in the area, but I just don't think that it's a realistic option for Darien Lake. Again, if they were to remove Superman and build a water park in that Helix area that is already pretty much a dead cert, like they have to build it there. The old water park area is obviously another spot. Water parks are getting really big now, so I honestly think that they could use both of those areas, or more lead into what I'm going to say next, which is, if this rumor is true, and Screamscape, as they've already replied, has said that maybe Six Flags, in the wildest sort of scenario of what's going on here, does sell Superman to Six Flags so they can move it to another park, I'm fine with that. That would be amazing, because at the end of the day, as long as the ride is saved, I'm fine with it being sent off to maybe another home where it could be serviced better and provide a little bit of a better ride. Because, as I've said many times on the channel, I love these these Intamin mega coasters and the Giga coasters are pretty much my favorite design of all time. So I want to see them saved in any shape or form. And there are a billion parks out there that are begging for a cheap attraction at a mega thrill level like this one. So it could easily either be sold or moved to Six Flags Kidya or whatever. I'm joking, but at the same time, it could end up going to a smaller park or a park that could use an attraction like that still has the right balance of thrills and family stuff. So that way, sort of leverage the fact that maybe a struggling park could use it more than, say, Darien Lake. Just reading questions here. And I was going to go on to Grizzly Run, and that's probably a good opportunity. Thank you, Sean O'Keefe, that there is a sort of plan in place, I think, that's already been happening at Darien Lake that we haven't really sort of taken on, or really sort of, this is where I'm going to trail off as my brain starts to catch up, but, we were there for a good portion. But here, the point is that Superman is removed, right? And if we remove Superman, you look at the entrance area to Superman currently next to Predator, it's kind of a dead space once that station is removed. You could fit another smaller roller coaster in that space. So, hear me out. You could end up putting in, say, a smaller launch coaster, let's say, in that space, in the sort of a similar land profile of, say, Tantrum per se, or a little bit larger from Mack or otherwise. We know there are a million. Gerstaller has them. There's a million different manufacturers, not a million, but there are many that could offer, say, a coaster in that space that would be affordable. And also, Mystery Mine, that kind of stuff comes to mind for that space. That is if Superman's gone. Again, thinking that Superman is now off to another park, which has oodles of land of which to take it on, and rebuilds it, sends it maybe, or puts the investment in to buy 2 new trains for the ride, or say another new train, and then reservices the one that was just bought recently, which really doesn't add credence to the everyone saying that, because that Superman has a new train that is now technically 8 years old, that's the reason why the park is looking to keep that ride in the park. I would say it's beyond that now. I would say that 8 years ago, if they needed a new train, they were like, we have to get a new train. We don't have a choice, so they bought the new train. But at the same time, I still think, and I'm obviously adding extra emphasis to this, that I think there is still some traction to this rumor. So it wouldn't be a bad idea. I'm going to adjust the sunlight situation here, because it looks like we're getting a lot of that. There's a little bit of a lag on the feed, so bear with me. Yeah, that didn't make it better at all. Maybe that will help. Yeah, that helps a bit. Not great, but it'll do. It will do. We're going to do one other thing and see if it helps. Bear with us. There it is. All right, sorry. There we go. Almost. As I have this lag here, I can see what's happening, and then I can't see what's happening. And as I turn away, okay, no, that's all right. So anyway, what I was saying there is that, say you have another ride that moves into where Superman was, but takes up way less land. You think about the Helix and the lake. Really, when you think about it, I'm just going wild. Say you put a Batman clone in at Darien Lake. They're readily available everywhere. You could put one in that space of land and also not infringe on the land on the water park side, and then allow them to open up the park somewhat, let's say. I'm not saying get a Batman clone, but I'm just saying, like, realistically, the land that Superman currently takes up could be put to better use, which wasn't thought about, say, 23, 24 years ago, as it is now in the current situation with where Darien Lake is. That added to the rumor, or added to that, is the fact that the old water park area and land is unused, and the old log flume ride also has just been recently decommissioned, and Thunder Rapids has been recently decommissioned. So when you look at the right side of Darien Lake and how it's kind of been situated with Tantrum opening up recently, maybe they're looking at putting a emphasis on the amusement side on the right side of the park, and then they'll have a larger water park offering on the left side with the lake, or the man-made smaller lake area as well. It makes sense to me because this park needs better attendance, period. And one of the things that would make the most immediate sense is to invest in that water park. And therefore, if you're getting people there for that offering to begin with, then why not expand it, double it if you can? Yes, that would be a very you're losing Superman no matter what, and enthusiasts don't want to hear this. But at the same time, we have to think about the bigger picture in the future of Darien Lake. Do we want to see Darien Lake still existent and successful and competitive, or do we want to watch Darien Lake slowly over the years depreciate and wither away and really become a park that when you're in the area you kind of thinking, is it worth the time commitment, or should I give it a pass? Because there's just generally nothing new or no reason to go there for the last 20 years other than Superman. Yes, Tantrum is a nice ride, but it's just not enough to draw in most people. Excuse me. Plenty of space for water park if you fill in the pond next to the Big Kahuna flat ride. True. Yeah, I think that they're going to want to keep the pond though, because it's kind of if they're not going to build around the lake, I feel like the pond is sort of a. That being said, they have a horrible water slide located above it on the left-hand side. But it's also, at the end of the day, possibly, when you think about what they would want to offer, 10 new slides maybe an expanded wave pool, a larger kids area and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a lot of space that they do need, but you could still end up adding a ride in the old Superman entrance area, in addition to also having another attraction open up in the old water park area. Another small coaster could technically open up there, but you can ignore that entirely. What really sort of opens my eyes to this concept is the fact that with Thunder Rapids gone, that's a massive plot of land that is being unused currently. Now, obviously, Thunder Rapids probably was at the end of its service life, but they can't be looking at that spot of land if there is a, say, 10-year plan for this park. Let's say there is a 10-year plan for this park, which currently we all sort of, I think, believe that there isn't. But if there is, let's say that spot of land is being looked at and earmarked for the next major attraction, of which a roller coaster easily could fit in, obviously. So this park has 3 spots with the removal of Superman that they could put 3 major coasters in the near future of the next decade. With that being said, they could also easily expand the water park so that way for the guest experience, it's the most convenient, because that Helix area is the obvious choice for where they want water slides and an expansion to go. So again, this rumor kind of makes sense in a way to me, even though it was completely unwelcome and I don't want it. But as I think about it more, and with this like dream scenario in play, I would kind of welcome it, other than the fact that I probably wouldn't be able to get to ride Superman, maybe if it went to a far away park. Like Six Flags are probably the experts at relocating roller coasters, so we can't really we can't really sort of debunk that rumor entirely. They look at that option pretty much with every model that they build or that they buy that's, travelable or easily, like not a terrain coaster, let's say. So, who knows? We'll see. It's going to be the Wild West in Darien Lake this year. Every enthusiast and major channel is probably going to visit the park and try to speculate on what the future is. We didn't expect this at all. It's come out of nowhere. It's definitely exciting times. I think it's only great for the area, really, because Niagara Amusement Park, by default, is going to get a lot of visitors due to the fact that enthusiasts are going to want to, say, potentially ride Superman for the last time. And that's another thing that I need to address, in that maybe all this can be debunked. Maybe it is a rumor. Maybe Six Flags is a little bit more keen on the fact that, hey, publicity is a crazy thing these days and works in strange ways and works virally, and maybe this rumor was planted just to draw attention to Darien Lake once again. That would be an interesting one, because we're all talking about it all of a sudden, and otherwise we wouldn't be. So, either way, who knows what happens with the fate of Superman. The rest of the fate of Darien Lake, while I'm supposed to be servicing that in this video, really does unfortunately boil around this ride and what's going to happen. If another ride closure comes, let's say, down the pipeline in this coming season, I think we can pretty much guarantee at that point that it's a strong certainty that they are looking at Superman in a way that we didn't want, and that maybe there's some credence to this rumor. I don't in any way think, because Tantrum was bought fairly recently, well, it is fairly recently, it's 4 years old now, and they haven't really gotten too many effective seasons out of that investment, that they are still looking at offering, say, an amusement/water park offering at Darien Lake, although I do believe that they're looking at it in a substantially different way. Predator has been getting some retrack work, has been rumored. I haven't seen any imagery of that, but it has been strongly rumored that that has been occurring. Correct me if I'm wrong if that has been absolutely confirmed. But it makes sense that they would do that if they're going to continue having that amusement offering in the right side of the park that leads to the lake in the back. Yeah, it makes sense. And the only thing that would really, unfortunately, be a drawback to this scenario is that we lose Superman. But at the end of the day, if they have to lose Superman, if Darien Lake has to lose Superman in order for the park to progress to a better state, or at least like to prolong the life of this park, because I have to say, it didn't really have much life to it in the last visit that I had. It just didn't have any mystique to Darien Lake that even other Six Flags parks really have, and the offering is just not good enough to draw in that crowd, say, outside of the Western New York area. So, yeah, let's keep our eyes out and see what happens. Darien Lake, the future, who knows? But who would have expected that the future is really in the air? Nah, the future, who knows? I can't end this video. I have no way to go on an outro. All right, thanks, guys. So the one thing that I wanted to say as a tail to this particular video, for those of you that are watching, and for the short time that the live is up, that I'm not going to be live anymore. We've got a couple more of these coming. Thanks for watching, WNY. You are probably more qualified on this subject than I am too, but yeah, it's speculation. It would be great to see you, by the way, when I come and visit the park this summer. Yeah, and definitely get some drone shots, because yeah, we're watching. I am watching. Everyone is watching, and your work is great on this subject. The lives are going to be ending on my channel. I'm going to be moving all of my live content to Patreon, and I'm just going to be putting the videos onto YouTube. So, yeah, there's going to be 3 of these over this week, and tomorrow we're going to talk about Canada's Wonderland, and we're going to talk about La Ronde on Wednesday. All future prediction videos, a little bit more outside of roller coasters on that one, or on those. So thanks for watching, guys. More information on all that stuff and what's happening with the channel. But basically, for those of you that are watching, what you do like to watch is going to stay on the channel. And for those of you that want to see me go off a little bit more off script, let's say, and say things that I, yeah, just reading the chat. For those of you that want to see me go off script, let's say, yeah, that'll be on my Patreon, because I have a lot of other stuff that I do, and that will also be on there. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let's hope and let's see that there are some exciting things coming for Darien Lake in the near future. I personally think there are. I think that the speculation is a little bit negative, and people are freaking out for reasons that really aren't legitimate. They may be looking at this park in a different way than we think, and I think, honestly, that there might be some exciting news to come. But that's also up to you, Gene Staples. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you tomorrow.